of the overemphasis in the equation on one particular area. Does anybody have any idea what area the global economic world has overemphasized for a very long time, and now its collapse is making them wake up to the fact that they were buying a bullshit story for a very long time? Ding, dum 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 dum, bum 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 bum, rink, haffooby doo ba boom. It's not. It's. I'll give you a hint. It's a country. Dum 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 dum. China. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. China. That's exactly right. There is not an economic slowdown going on. A global economic slowdown. There is not. Everywhere else in the world, everyone is ramping up. Even Germany, whose like manufacturing sector had eaten shit for years. That is not. It is not a slowdown when you just simply remove one aspect of a conversation. If you have a number, if you have an equation, and one of the numbers is no longer relevant to the equation itself, you remove that from your computations to see how the actual economy is going. And if you don't, you will get a false. You will solve improperly for X. You will your solution will be wrong. Trying to be nice about it, and I just fucking can't. And again, it is happy CSL Day to everyone who celebrates. That includes me and Johnny Million and everybody else. Can't Stop Lion's birthday was yesterday. If you're just showing up, reminder, wish him a happy birthday, belated. Many of you did yesterday, by the way, on the actual day. But there you go. Now, hold up, getting some Motang. I understand, please. China. So, correct spelling, is it? So, let me be abundantly clear. When they're talking about this whole like global economic slowdown, what they're really talking about is that there is a sector of the economic world that followed the Ray Dalios of the world, and they believed the hype longer than other people did. And I have to say, I had an awakening that happened while I was there, and many of you will recall watching this. And as I still stand by my love of the Chinese culture and the people themselves. But what happened when Xi Jinping took over the fucking country, it was a sea change in how the country operates, and it went from being a real communism to fake communism to an emperor-based system right now. That's what it is. And it didn't take him long to do it, because a communist system, the way they had it arranged, allows for that kind of takeover much easier. Believe me, the dictators of the world who have been wanting to, seize back their countries from even rudimentary democratic systems that it sort of crept in over the last couple of decades, those folks had an easy time of it in some areas. In the United States, they did not. Donald Trump was part of that. It became trendy to be a dictator for a while, and it's like, people are trying it on like a hat. It's the gender fluidity of geopolitics. And it came upon us fairly quickly, and some people responded to it well, and some people did not, and some people panicked, and others did not, and what have you. Point being is that the United States, our immune system, our political immune system, was able to push back on that. And it's still dealing with it. We got long COVID in terms of our dealing with Trump and his ilk, but we're going to make it. Russia had and China both had a pre-existing condition where they were already primed to have a virus like this have a greater impact. And that's what, China specifically fell very easily to it. Russia, even, ironically enough, the way it played out was its attacks on other countries, which is sort of habitual. You know what I mean? It's like the person who gets grumpy when they get sick versus the person who just goes quiet and falls apart. In Russia's case, it's like they lashed out when they got sick. When, China got sick, it kept went in a corner and hid. So we'll see more of this as it plays out. But our immune system in the United States is working very well. It's not fun when you're getting over an illness like this, but that's what we're doing. That's what it looks like. And anybody who's been sick on any major way or has had some sort of like physical rehab that they had to go through, which I spent a good 5 years doing at one point. And I felt like I'm physically kind of back to normal for the first time in like over the last year. I think I clarified physically myself in that area. But that, the road back can be rough. It can be a long walk. And it's never fun, but you recognize the progress along the way, and you worry about slipping back and all that kind of stuff. You worry about, whether whatever you have is in its own form of remission, as it were. And politically, that's where we are right now. We're worried about, we think we're in remission, but we're worried about every bump, needs to be checked out because, oh God, what if it comes back? And because we're not out of the woods yet, we're still healing from it. It makes total sense. But again, China and Russia both had a pre-existing condition for this disease of dictatorship. And it has taken over so quickly. Let me show you something, if I may. I think the Daily Beast had this one as well. But this has been a running story in China right now that I really haven't had a chance to cover so much. Where is, let's see. Oh, there is a piece of Schadenfreude kind of news. But let's see. Yeah, it's going to be hidden back in here. All right, hold on. I'm going to have to look this up separately. It'll come up this way because it's the weird part of it. There is, oh, Washington Post, you're so adorable. Yeah, and then I'm going to look up one more thing. Yeah. So this is what's been going on in China over the last little bit. And it's one of those things that, like, it's an all you need story. Xi Jinping is purging anybody who isn't a yes man from the heads of all the important agencies in China. Unfortunately, he's a stupid man. It would be one thing if he was some sort of tactical mastermind who could play 5D chess or some shit like that. He's not. All of his ideas that are specifically his, that came either because of him and his team putting them together or them just nodding when he said, we should give this a try, have singularly fucked up the lives of more Chinese people than anyone since Mao's Great Leap Backward, where he starved tens of millions of his own people. Let me say this as clearly as I possibly can. Xi Jinping is dumb. The only reason anybody follows him is because he's also cruel. And his cruelty scares people away from pointing out the things around him that he does that are dumb. And the resulting circumstance that China has found itself in is to be run by probably the most idiotic inbred style king since England almost lost the crown. Since I mean the I would argue the French aristocracy when they had lost their fucking mind, where inbreeding had turned generations of British royalty into just gibbering idiots. I'm not kidding. His institution of the 3 red lines alone sped up the collapse of the economic collapse of China's real estate market, which again is 30% of their entire economy. It made it 40% of their economy. It grew it and then collapsed it. It was the worst possible plan that you could implement. There are dumber things I'm sure you could do, but getting them done would be impossible. Like, I don't know, burning all the properties, that the excess property in the country, that kind of shit. Setting off a series of charges, detonating all of them, which, again, I've shown you multiple places where they've done part of it, but you couldn't do all of it, that kind of thing. The 3 red lines that he set up as an economic backstop against what he thought was a growing problem is the real estate equivalent of the one-child policy. It was madness and idiocy in a perfect storm, a tornado of fucked up logic and CYA and just like a whirlwind of ass kissing made it possible. Idiotic. Yeah, Dan Bongino kind of dumb. Yes, that level stupid. Where you're the kind of stupid where you read something aloud and and then you immediately tell people what you've just read and it's the opposite of what you've just read, and everybody around you goes, that's not what you just read. That's not what it said. What? How in the world? And if you pipe up and say that's not what that says at all, you get killed. So, China's president doubles down on ruling for life, excluding potential future leaders or factional rivals. This is his lesson that he's learned from Putin's paranoia. Apparently, it's contagious. Oh my God, we have a Bongholio face emote in Twitch. How terrifying! Jesus Christ. Xi Jinping has stacked senior Chinese Communist Party ranks with loyalists, showing China's ever more powerful leader favors loyalty over merit and wants rule insulated from criticism or questioning, which always works out so well, and it has worked out so well in history. It's amazing. The appointments, which were revealed on Sunday, have raised concern that Xi has surrounded himself with yes men as he leads China through what he called the choppy waters of the future, some of which are of his own making. Some of them aren't. He definitely took over when shit was about to hit the fan, but he steered the fan towards the shit, and while consuming, I don't know, lots of fiber and rotten eggs. Been done. The country is facing domestic economic troubles. 26% youth unemployment, 50% total unemployment in the cities. That's what you would call economic troubles. And worsening global tensions, like where everybody's just woken up to the fact that China's ruling party has been just stealing everybody's intellectual property for a while so that they could eventually build a domed city style country, which is just like, we don't need you fuckers anymore. Like a teenager, like a 12-year-old packing a bag and going, I'm running away. And then they, make it to the end of the driveway and go, I'm going to walk into traffic. That kind of, all right. And worsening global tensions as she doubles down on threats to annex Taiwan. At the conclusion of the party's twice-a-decade Congress on Sunday, the new members of the most powerful political bodies were revealed to include Xi acolytes in the most senior positions, with factional rivals swept away. The already poor female representation at the top also erased. For the first time in 25 years, there was no woman in the Politburo. And there has never been a woman on the highest seat of power, the Politburo Standing Committee. As expected, she was reappointed for a president-breaking third term as head of party. Yeah, I love that at least they didn't say elected. That's nice. He's appointed. And he's not a president. He's the chairman of the Communist Party. He's he presides over it. That doesn't make you a president, right? Which also, the new Politburo is an emphatic statement of Xi's dominance over the party. She has dispersed with the old factional system such as it was. He has crushed expectations that he would nurture a successor. He has ignored the informal age caps on officials serving in top positions. Yeah, this dude's let me explain to you how stupid. This dude right here looked at Kim Jong-un's situation and said, that looks sweet. Yeah. And so I want to remind you of this. Yes, every time Trump pats this fucker on the back, yes, he's a murderous asshole. Yes, he's purging people. Yes, Trump wishes he had everybody around him clapping everywhere he goes and clapping when he goes poo-poo like a fucking toddler. But more than anything, you need to know that Trump is championing a man who is stupid, who is a big dum-dum. He is not smart. As a matter of fact, it's a point of mockery amongst the average Chinese people that you have to read this like Xi Jinping thought on the main websites, and he's putting out this idea that he's like, he wants George Washington level quotes that are attributed to him, just like Mao's Little Red Book. There's like a digital version, essentially, of it every day in the newspaper, which is garbage. It's largely rehashed shit that other people think or stuff that they put up that, that he's allegedly read. I won't even say that he's read it. Yeah, deep thoughts with Xi Jinping, exactly. That's why, but Trump is envious of Xi, and Xi is envious of Kim Jong-un. That's how fucking stupid these people are. It really boils down to that idea of like not knowing the difference between fear and respect, or believing that respect comes from fear, or believing that fear is better than respect because you can lose respect. Respect takes work to maintain, whereas fear is easy, which is, by the way, the root behind clickbait and some of our dear friends in the political vlogosphere on YouTube and Twitch that try to scare the shit out of you. Just saying that they could earn your respect by being right all the time, and actually not, making it a point not to waste your fucking time. Or they could just make you so scared not to click. Oh my God, what happens if I got to read this? I got to see this. I got to read this. I got to see this. It's why none of their smiles are real. You ever notice that? Anyways, I love you guys. Hi, how are you? Did you talk about China-Russian naval vessels off Alaska? Yeah, don't worry about it. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah. That's a bunch of noise. That's their response to the AUKUS agreement, and it's pitiful. Can I show you one more? Let me see if I can find the. Let's see. Chinese. Let's see if I can find the image of it. Maybe not. No. So then we eat another. Yeah. Da 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 da. Huh. Now I'll be able to. I'll have to look it up later. I'll show you guys this afternoon. But hold on. The I showed you some of these images before. We looked at some of the video of it. But as many people you'll recognize, yeah, this is Typhoon Daksuri. This is these images, by the way, are not of, the Jersey Shore area of China. These images are not from, the Alabama of China. These images are from the Washington, D.C. of China. Now, one of the things that you guys will notice whenever we see stuff about floods, for example, is that the rushing waters of a flood can be terrifying and destructive and can tear houses out and kill people and the like. But oftentimes it's the follow-on. This is, by the way, this is the Beijing airport right here. The follow-on after effects of a flood, standing water, disease, the erosion of the foundations of buildings, the rotting of wood, all of that is the worst effects of it. If you don't, if the mitigation efforts aren't enormous at the time, or there's not the big rain isn't followed by a light rain over time. That's, again, imagine this shot from Dulles. Imagine that shot from Reagan International in D.C. and the news cycle that it would be. Imagine this, the reflecting pool outside the Lincoln Memorial. The Forbidden City was flooded for the first time in 180 years. This is heartbreaking if you have any friends in that area, and I do. Many of whom, because of the government, I cannot contact anymore for a myriad of reasons, not the least of which is that they can't be heard talking to me because while it is well known that I love Chinese culture and Chinese people, the Chinese government I am not a fan of, and I have been pretty open about that for the last few years. So needless to say, I'm on one of the lists. And we occasionally get some trolls when I focus on China that talk about this, that, push back or what have you. But a lot of those folks, the places that they would do that trolling from are underwater. And even if you're a paid troll that works for the, internet research agency that the Wagner Group put together, and you're making minimum wage being an online dick, posing as a BLM supporter and a right-wing maggot in Facebook groups and all that kind of stuff. While I don't like what you're doing, I understand your options are limited, and I feel for you. And that's why when we have trolls in here, we laugh it off and we treat them with a bit of, a shrug and a wink. Because a good portion of them, quite frankly, are not genuine in what they are talking about. Even if they are all in on what they are saying, a lot of times it's cut and paste. That they have, it's an if-then response. Never mind, the amount of stuff that pops up online. The AIing of the thread, like threads on Twitter, on Shitter right now. But I want those folks to know that's, you can get paid to be argumentative. Yes, you can. Well, I mean, that's the thing, though. Yeah. AI trolls are a real thing. They're basically chatbots. They're if then bots. If someone says this, then say this. If they say this, then this. If you don't understand, just hit them with some sort of random, oh yeah, well, what about Agent Orange kind of shit. You're like, well, we had trials and we now have rules about that. That's what. Can you take some pictures of your cats and use them as your green screen? That's not a bad idea. Well, it's interesting because, hold on. Yeah, boys. He was in here earlier, and I have my little cat cam set up, and he was in here as I was getting started, and then he ran off because I had to go get my shoes, and then he. Hold on, I'll get him. Give me a second. God damn it! Talk amongst yourselves. I gave him a snack earlier because he was bothering me. He was in between my feet while I was trying to do stuff, and and he's out cold. He probably heard it, and it'll be on a delay, and he'll come down. Yes, I went chip hunting. I'm sorry, but that's true. Anyways, back to where we were. Now let's look, if we can. Now something to annoy us about the sublime to the idiotic. There's a video, and I got to find it. CSL, maybe. And by the way, it's official CSL day to everybody who celebrates. You can do whatever he wants today. So all I ever make are mild requests. But apparently, they had a RFK was on with either Hannity or one of these dipshits for a minor town hall or something. And there's a clip that I've heard of, I've not watched it, about him talking about the Russia invading Ukraine. And if it's anything like this, which is hold on. Whoops, I need to go back to here. If it's anything like, where'd he go? Hold on one second. Give me 1 second. It's where'd he go? I had it. I thought I had it. RFK. Okay, there we go. There we go. He did this thing about where is he? Where are you? What's happening? He was talking about Russia in this thread. Oh my God. This is, I didn't even see this one. Holy shit. This is me scrolling through Twitter trying to find this. This is him. The problem is that remember when he got caught being an anti-Semitic twerp and pushed back on it by going, nobody's better for Israel than ever, whatever. All the friends he had made being anti-Ukraine in the Jimmy Dore, Max Blumenthal, Aaron Mate world, all turned on him instantly. And this, like I said, you cannot rely on that group of people, the anti-Ukraine, anti-Israel group, because first of all, they're lunatics, and genuinely, they're crazy. There is no logic to what they're saying. And at best, they're simply blindly anti-Semitic and just, they're like, I don't know, if Russia does it to Ukraine and Israel does it to Palestine, I could hate it when Israel does it to Palestine, but I don't hate it when Russia does it to Ukraine, because the leadership of Israel is Jewish and the leadership of Ukraine is Jewish. So, See? All right. Anyways, he did some sort of when they're doing building 7 shit, that's when you know your candidacy is going great. There was let's see. He did this breakdown of his ideas around how Ukraine had it coming. Same shit. And it was about mutual assured destruction. That he was basically saying that let's see, Robert F. Kennedy, somebody, I don't know, Junior. Anyways, we'll talk about that later this afternoon, because it'll aggravate the shit out of me. But the essence of it is that he's making the case, beg your pardon, that Ukraine shouldn't have been walking around with that short skirt. Which, interestingly enough, I had some randos on Shitter think that when I made that remark about Cornel West's argument, that I was making a joke. I was not. I was making an analogy that I felt was apt and direct. I don't find that funny. I am trying to put it in as clear a language as I can, that I believe that the people who are defending Russia are saying it had a reason for attacking Ukraine and that they just had to do it is the exact same as someone saying, well, she shouldn't have been walking around wearing that short skirt at that hour if she didn't want to be attacked. It wasn't the guy's fault. It was her fault. That's the same fucking logic to me. And so when it comes up, I will post that analogy. And there are a couple of people who think that that's me making a joke about it. I am not. I am comparing what I would say is equal language. And if you heard someone say this thing, which you allegedly find horrifying, and that's the alleged part, and you parallel it to what people say about, Russia's attack on Ukraine, and you get offended about it, explain why. Yes, so then tonight is a marathon, that's right. Yeah, I call it shitter because of Xi Jinping, and I spell it like this. I just put it in the chat. Xitter, shitter. Makes sense? Don't you think? Yeah, you had money in your wallet, so I had to rob you. Plus, you were going to get a job that I wanted because people we both went in for the interview, and I told them to go fuck themselves, and if they didn't hire me, I was going to burn the building down. And you went, I think I'd be a good employee, and that was, that's it. Water. Where Russia did have a reason for invading. They want Ukraine wealth and resource for themselves. Yes, it's true. I mean, this is standard imperialistic shit. China's like a boyfriend or girlfriend that destroys your life, then wants money to stop. Not quite sure what you mean. I get where you're going, I think, but yes, it wasn't a robbery. It was an aspiration to gain access to your money in the conduct of my official duties. That's right. So if you ever see me post that, that analogy and put it in quotes and make it a piece of dialogue, which is how I often do it, as I did when it came to Cornel West's argument on, I believe he was on Hannity's show, was the clip I was responding to. That just know I'm not kidding. I'm not doing that to be cute. I'm not doing that to make a joke. I'm fucking enraged. Yeah. So because a lot of Elon Musk's funding comes from Xi anyways, I think calling it shitter is a great way to do it. Now, this is really weird. And again, I wish everybody a speedy recovery. Being a billionaire dick, even still, is not it's not a capital crime. But Musk says he may need surgery. We'll get MRI on his back and neck. After a okay, so it's so weird. Elon Musk to receive an MRI of his neck and upper back on Monday and may require surgery. The 52-year-old said he's a year younger than me. On his She platform, Shitter, the artist formerly known as Shitter, the world's richest person said he will know this week whether surgery will be required ahead of his proposed cage fight with Meta Platforms co-founder Mark Zuckerberg. He previously said he might need an operation to strengthen the titanium plate holding my C5 and C6 vertebra together. As the chief executive offered Tesla, blah, 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 health is intense interest in mega back pain mode. Yeah, notorious workaholic has said he has suffered from mega back pain after a bout with a sumo wrestler. The post about the sumo match was accompanied by another with a photo of what appears to be a makeshift ring for the Japanese sport. Musk mentioned the injury last year after challenging Russian Vladimir Putin to single combat over Ukraine, which is just horse shit, by the way. Zuckerberg said, I'm ready today. I'm not holding my breath. Yeah, so weird. Where's this business? Shit. I don't understand what's going on here. Like, really? You have billions of dollars, and this is what are you doing? What are you doing, dummy? Yeah, you're a multi-billion. Do people just get that bored? Is that what happens? I don't understand. Fuck's sake. He supposedly hurt his back doing that. Apparently, that is what occurred. Where'd it go? There you go. Yeah, this. Apparently here. He apparently hurt his back in that match with that sumo wrestler. Fucking hell. What? Is he wearing a Jedi robe? No, he's just, I don't know. He didn't like how the diaper looked or something. Just so dumb. Why? What? Okay. I would like to remind you that Elon Musk has been a financial barnacle most of his life, and none of his ideas are his own. For the record, he's just one of those guys. He's been able to Peter Principle himself to the front of the line. And if it wasn't for government contracts, we wouldn't even be talking about that dude. Anytime or Elon Musk talk about someone else being smart, just count on it. Fucking dumb. The prediction on what will happen in the Georgia federal court tonight, the 5 p.m. deadline. We'll talk about that today because it's going to happen right as we're on the air. Because I start my show, just right after that. So, because I want to see what's said afterwards. Yeah. So I'm just for the record, like, anytime those people go like, this guy's got the fucking moxie, you're like, okay, is that person's also an idiot or an ass kisser. And I don't know why, by the way, because he doesn't need back surgery because he's never worked hard enough. I don't think it came from work. It came from an optional injury. And I don't know that he had that surgery before. Jesse Ventura says he's friends with Elon. Rumor has it, I've never heard that before. Now, at one point, I was down in Marina Del surfing. And long story short, I took the wrong pull off the right pipe, depending on how you look at it. And I ended up in a small Piper Cub, duct taped to the underside of it, actually. And it landed at SpaceX. And after a little while, after nightfall, I was able to free myself by chewing through it. Rambled my way inside, and in SpaceX, behind a giant X in the middle of the floor that apparently they had to remove from shitter quarters, is an elevator that takes you down into an area where aliens had once taken over the place. And kept in these capsules are the bodies of the Marines that were fighting off the aliens that got their DNA mixed with them and became not, I don't want to spoil it, but super soldiers, yeah. And apparently they were buried at different sites throughout the and Building 7 fell down because one of them got a boner in his sleep. 9/11 was caused by a wet dream, according to my friend Elon. I can't just... Some people you improvise as them, and the weirdest shit comes out. Yeah. So yeah, that's true story though. Just saying, like a baby's arm. Wow. So Joe Rogan always talks about how smart Elon Musk is. I rest my case. Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah. Conspiracy, Jesse. Oh, thanks, Steven. I appreciate that. It's one of those that knows, and I'm amazed. I think I've got to take it to Saturday Night Live now. If they'll ever stop hiring bad people. I don't know how else to put. I could, yeah. I can't do Bobcat and Jesse Ventura. I'll throw my own. I won't be able to sing. All right, see, I'll see if I can find it as well in my stuff, but we'll manage. Don't work too hard. It's your holiday, so fantastic. Come on, my popcorn plate is better. Thanks very much. I always worry about pegging my microphone, though. Pegging the needle on not pegging my microphone. Did you audition for SNL? No, I've never auditioned for SNL. Well, that's not true. I auditioned when I was 18 for SNL, and it was when Michael, what's his name, who was he was in Breakfast Club and all that, when he was on there for a season, and it was pretty and they literally decided no one under the age of 21 ever again while I was sitting in the office before I ever got a chance to read. Yeah. Anthony Michael Hall. Yeah, right. Kate McKinnon is fantastic. This is true. Yeah. Yeah. Pee Wee Herman was rejected by SNL too. Yeah, exactly. So good. I watched, I gotta say, I watched Pee Wee's Big Adventure, again, obviously. And I had like, part of me wishes that Tim Burton hadn't been the director, because I see Tim Burton more in the visual aspect of that than I see Paul Rubens in some ways. It's a good trust game, that's fine. And in many ways, it's, it's like the optimistic version of Edward Scissorhands, and it's super silly. And it's interesting that, the Powers borrowing Tom Cruise playing Austin Powers in the meta moment of that, like having, like them make the version of Pee-wee's Big Adventure, and that he ended in it. Paul Rubens is credited in it. It says starring Pee Wee Herman as himself, which I mean, legally you can absolutely do. And I have no doubt that at some point, because he wanted him to be sort of considered a real person, that Paul was able to work under that name legally in terms of SAG and stuff. Yeah. I'm trying to use the phone! Right, which is so great. But goddamn, so yeah, it's so good and such a sweetheart and whatever. And I saw this interview with him because I was watching. I don't know if you've seen it, where he's sitting around talking about it, because I got fascinated about the making of it, and I watched this. He was on stage someplace talking about it, and he goes, "I tried very hard once Pee Wee became a thing to not allow myself to be photographed, not as Pee Wee." He goes, except that one time, which, he's like, there was definitely one time where I was photographed out of character. And he was talking about his mugshot, and it was such a great turn and way of dealing with it. Aging Mr. Herman. Mr. Herman. Right, that whole point. Yeah, Kevin, that's not going to happen. Good luck, though. Look, guys, we've got one. We've got a real wannabe troll in the wild. We've got a maggot showed up. Congrats, Kevin. Keep believing that. I guess as rubber stamp things to put in, that'll. What are you gonna do? That's as close as you're gonna get. Joe Biden will be the last Democratic president for the crooked giant. The crooked crime family will blah blah blah. Yeah. He's been cutting and pasting that shit for days. Yeah, it's adorable. Here's the thing. It's kind of fun to see. It's like a zoo. You know what I mean? Like some things might be dangerous in the wild, but you see them, in a little chat room cell, and you're like, oh, yeah, sure, yeah, I guess that. Oh yeah, I guess that would. Guess the teeth might be sharp if they were out and about and whatever, but they're never going to leave here. I guess it's a rough one, whatever. Meanwhile, Trump's in deep shit. We'll cover that later on this afternoon. We're getting near the... Yes. No, we like trolls around here. We appreciate them. They're the ones who help us spread out through the interwebs. It's fantastic. We need them in some ways. I mean, there's obviously a limit. But, yeah. I need the sound of ducks quacking, followed by crickets, followed by a robotic German voice. Oh, for the... You sounded like Dr. Strangelove just then? Oh, I see. Animals can be bred and slaughtered? Yeah, we love trolls around here. We don't care. The Trump Zoo is enormous. Yeah, it's big. It's certainly bigger than his library. Oh, boy. Yeah. So yes, the trolls chum the waters. That's exactly right. And they let us show up in the algorithm in other areas, and I appreciate it. In some ways they balance out. They're the ones that allow me to swear, because swearing, as I do on the show, I know some of you are shocked. That diminishes my, the algorithm. It kind of bumps me down in the algorithm because of it makes me less ad friendly or something. But those guys make up for it by helping us spread out, wider. It's the idea that, we may never hit bottom, but we'll scrape the shit out of the sides. We're the little show that could. Yes, Pee Wee Herman hosted SNL in character the entire show, which is a great comeuppance, considering they didn't accept Paul Rubin as an actor, as a performer, because he had multiple characters. He had lots of characters. And his death scene in, you guys have probably seen his death scene from Buffy the movie, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the movie, is just lovely. Do you know that he wanted his mugshot, he wanted, in Buffy, he had a thing in his contract that he wanted to look as much like his mugshot as possible. Yeah. Yeah, Mystery Men is fantastic as the spleen, yeah. Troll server purpose in nature, they're like flies and maggots. If it wasn't for them, they're going to get rid of the rotting corpses and shit. Yes. The Trump library will have 4,000 square finger. Well, no, because they're going to watch them try to... How long do you think we are? And this is a good question on our way out the door. And by the end of today, I have a couple of goals that I'm setting up with the show to expand to where we can have polls during the show. Won't that be fun? And we already did that. We can't do it again. It's wrong. But it will be a character on my SNL or my audition. Just saying. How long would it take before the Trump kids start trying to sell paintings? After Trump goes to jail? After next year? What do you think? 6 months? They do it ironically at first, or are they just too lazy and do NFTs? Thank you, Isha. I love you guys. Loved him in Blow. Yeah. Paul Rubens was a great performer and a lovely human being. Gail, yeah, we're at the end of this. You got 5 minutes left. Now is the part of the show where I'm trying to wind it down and turn it into a real, just to annoy, I guess, the Tony Michaels viewers that come in late and then have to rewind. Learn all about China, and how the world is getting better all the time in spite of Donald Trump and his ilk. And again, like I said, next year, AI will be one of the biggest debate points. It won't be this year because they don't understand it. And next year, they're going to have to pretend to understand it. But watching Joe Biden talk about AI is going to be super fun. And even more fun will be everybody else who pretends to know more about it. I'm vamping. Nope, I'm just saying a proper outro because I never get to. How confident am I that Trump will go to jail? I don't think he's going to go to jail. I think he'll have home confinement because of his age. I think he'll end up in home confinement. Pol Pot style in that regard. But there are a bunch of people around him that are close to his age that very well may. Steve Bannon's going back to jail, more than likely. And nobody's going to be able to pardon him this time. Deranged Don Jr. Tour 2024, right. Cheers. Thank you guys so much. By the way, on your way out the door, like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, support the show. I'm gonna end early because I got work to do. I'm gonna go do stuff anyways, and I need to go find that clip for this afternoon. So I'll see you guys at 3, and then I'll be at my time, and then I'll be on long tonight. It's gonna be a long one. It is. It's gonna be a long one. Just saying. And yeah, Bannon is dangerous. Well, not for long. I'm just saying. Home confinement at Mar-a-Lago just sounds wrong. Yeah, it won't be Mar-a-Lago. More than likely, it'll be Bedminster. He may even have to go back to Trump Tower, which is ironic. We'll see. I mean, he won't be able to move between them, so he's going to have to pick the one you like the most that you can pay the bills on, and then that's that. And Trump Tower's got some fucking problems you better deliver. When do I not, K-Link? Honestly. Come on. You can't, Nick. You can always rewatch it later. That's the great thing about this show. You can watch it anytime you want to. I'm just saying. That's the thing about the internet. I'm just saying. You can also fast forward the parts where I'm vamping and being silly. If you don't like my Jesse Ventura, I don't know what's wrong with you, but you don't have to watch it. I like right up there with my whole, where is it? I know I have a graphic in here somewhere, don't I? Where the fuck is it? That's that. Where'd my, like, subscribe thing go? Oh, I don't have one on this one. That's right. Shit, because it's the other screen. Sorry. Yeah, right in the... I need to have an effect that comes up like my satire graphic that says, you know, impersonation, just so you don't think it's the real person. I'm that good. I ain't got time to bleed. Come on now. You guys are fantastic. But you know what's best?